Chapter 28. I lay on top of Grayson, trying to regulate my breath. Grayson, I don't think we can give gifts anymore. I'm all gifted out.
Are you all gifted out for 6 months?
I think I'm gifted out for 2 years.
Good.
My phone buzzed. I reached to grab it off the nightstand. It was a text from an unknown number. It must be David.
Watch the morning news. It's my wedding gift to you.
Wedding gift? I showed the message to Grayson. His eyebrows shot up. He flipped on the television and found the channel. I shrugged on a robe.
It should be on in a couple of minutes.
He said. Why did he say wedding gift? It doesn't make any sense.
He likes to egg me on. This is just another way to mess with me.
Gee, I didn't know marrying me would be a source of conflict.
You misunderstood me?
It's on, I said. My eyes widened as I watched the video of an aerial view of a house on fire. It looked like Dagor's house.
An 8-building explosion lit up the Vegas skyline last night as fire and emergency crews responded to the calls,
said the news anchor.
All buildings, including a house belonging to Dagor Moliente, are reduced to ashes. As crews sift through the wreckage, no casualties have been found. Investigators say this was no accident, as several explosives and accelerants were used to make the powerful explosions. Police are still looking for Dagor Moliente.
Grayson and I looked at each other briefly but didn't have time to say anything when the next story hit.
In other news,
the anchor continued,
Lost City Casino has been found with dirty money. A printing press in the casino was found pumping out millions of dollars worth of counterfeit money. Jason Biggs has been arrested for counterfeiting and attempted murder. Grayson Miller, CEO of Rotunda Casinos, found the printing press late last night in a storage room at Lost City Casino. He was shot by Jason Biggs moments later. Sources say Miller is already out of the hospital and recovering. Workers who were the last to see Grayson Miller say he was planning on marrying professional poker player Nadia Wolf this weekend. No word on if the wedding will proceed.
I heard an eek and running footsteps down the hall. Maya burst through the door and squealed,
You didn't tell me you're getting married. I'm so happy.
It was a joke, I said to Grayson. They can't really think we're getting married.
It looks like they did,
he said. He watched Maya, who was still bouncing up and down.
Maya, it's not true. Nadia and I don't have any plans to get married. In fact, we aren't going to see each other for 6 months.
Maya's smile fell.
Why 6 months?
I have to get the casino back on its feet. If I tried to date Nadia during that time, both of you would end up hating me.
But...
It's okay, Maya, I said. I'm flying to South America tomorrow. Grayson turned to me.
You are?
I shrugged. Frankie told me when we got back.
Maya, can you give Nadia and me a moment? We need to get ready to go.
Sure.
Maya closed the door on her way out.
So, do I need to be worried about fighting off a Brazilian or Argentinian man?
According to our agreement, I'm free for 6 months. I might have a desire to try out the South American menu. I kept my poker face in full force. I nearly let out a laugh, but I wanted to see what Grayson had to say. He growled instead.
Just remember our date in 6 months.
6 months is so far away. I've heard South American men are known for their sexual prowess. Grayson eyed me.
You're just screwing with me. I can see right through your poker face.
I chuckled. I need to get back to work. My poker face is suffering. He kissed my forehead.
Come on. I'll scrub you down in the shower. You can work on your poker face while I try my hardest to break it.
Frankie dropped me off at the airport. He called to me as I was rushing through the departure door.
Don't forget to send me a postcard and give me status updates so I can update the website.
I gave him a wave and ran to the departures. A long line brought me to a dead halt. There was no way I could check my bag and make it to the gate before it boarded. I already had my ticket Frankie pre-printed. I'd have to abandon my bag if I wanted to catch the plane. I'm going to kill Frankie. I told him I didn't need to color coordinate. Just give me jeans and a hoodie and I'm good to go. I left my bag behind a plant and called Frankie to come back and pick it up. I rushed to security. It was another long line, but they had enough stations open that I whisked through with 5 minutes to spare. I raced through the crowded airport. This is ridiculous. Why am I killing myself to board a plane to a place I don't want to go to? Then again, what did I have to keep me in Vegas? Just another day sitting at a poker table. I guess I may as well sit at a poker table where I don't understand the language. It could help my game. The attendant scanned my ticket, and I raced down the gateway. I skidded onto the plane. I was seat C11. I read the numbers as I made my way down the aisle. I stopped at C and D11. I slid into my seat and took a breath before I peeked at my seat neighbor. "Oh, come on," I cried. It was Caleb. I scrambled out of my seat to make a dash for the door.
"It's too late,"
he said.
"They closed the doors."
He was right. The doors were closed. "What's going on? Why are you here?"
"I'm playing in the Latin poker tour. Why are you here? I heard you were going to marry Grayson this weekend."
Frankie said I was playing in the tournament. That other thing is a rumor.
"Where are you staying?"
I shuffled through the papers Frankie had given me. Hotel Destino del Sur.
"That's where I'm staying. Do you know what room?"
Frankie scribbled in the corner. "It looks like the Romantico suite."
"Frankie set you up with this?"
"Yeah, why?"
"I'm booked in the Romantico suite.
My eyes widened as his turned hungry.
Looks like I'm collecting on my weekend sooner than I thought I would. Here I assumed the Romantico suite would be wasted."
I gulped. A brief commotion arose a few rows behind us. I turned to see what the problem was.
"Sir, you can have a drink once we're in the air, and you're not allowed to touch any of the flight attendants. This is your last warning, or you'll be escorted off the plane,"
a flight attendant said.
All right, baby.
Said a familiar voice.
Just get me that drink as soon as we're in the air. If you want a little something after duty, you know where I am.
The flight attendant hurried down the aisle to distance herself from Dagor. I didn't blame her. His gaze followed her until she flew past me. His eyes widened at the sight of me seated only a few rows up. He reddened briefly, and an evil sneer crept on his face. He formed a gun with his hand and squeezed the imaginary trigger at me. He mouthed, "You're dead." I quickly turned in my seat to evade Dagor's line of vision. He had to be fleeing from the police and was heading to the same destination. A killer was on the plane with me. He was only a few rows behind me and could sneak up and kill me while I was napping at 30,000 feet. Or he might wait and shoot me outside my hotel. Either way, my one-way ticket didn't seem like my biggest problem anymore. It seemed like a promise.
"Nadia, what's wrong? You're turning white."
Caleb said. "I need to get off this plane." Caleb peeked out the window.
"We're on the runway. You're not getting off this plane anytime soon. If you're afraid to fly, I can help you forget you're on a plane."
He smiled and took my hand into his. He brought my hand up to his lips, softly kissing the tip of each finger. I watched intently as he placed each kiss carefully and with an underlying agenda, giving the kisses much more meaning.
"Since you aren't marrying Grayson this weekend, I'll be collecting on our wager you lost."
The plane raced down the runway and soared into the sky. I was pressed back into my seat before I could argue. Caleb wanted to collect on his wager. Dagor was going to kill me, and I was on a plane with no money and no way of returning home. I'm going to kill Frankie.